Good day, everyone. My name is Jordan, and I will be your facilitator for the next few minutes. Today, we will be discussing an important topic: sales. Without revenue or sales, there is no business. The bigger the revenue, the better the future of the company. There are two types of businesses. At least the most common ones. You have the B2C, or business to consumer, and you also have the B2B, or business to business selling. Today, we're going to talk about business to business selling skills, a must have. So, what does it take to be a good salesperson? Do you really need to be able to sell ice to Eskimos, as the old adage goes? Or is it more about understanding a prospect's needs and offering them a solution that benefits both of you? In the past, salespeople were known to be ruthless and working on a prospect until they reached their goal. That was not great for their reputation. And this could be one of the reasons why cold calling isn't as effective as it used to be. Another reason is technological advancement. These days, people prefer texting and rarely answering their phones, so you need to find another way to reach decision makers. Typically, with B2B sales, you will be dealing with a longer sales cycle. As a result, you need to be able to cultivate long-term relationships and with your prospects and your clients. One of the biggest irritation I personally have is people connecting to me in social media just to pitch me within 1 hour of accepting their connection. This type of hard selling makes it even more difficult for the rest of us who genuinely wants to help our customers. Why would you buy a product or service worth thousands of pesos from a total stranger? I can't understand really how these people think. When this happens, I immediately beg off, and if they insist, I block them. I don't get it. Do they really think that, this works? When you're in it for the long run, your success in managing these complex relationships requires a set of key skills. A good B2B salesperson is someone who is able to network, consult, and build relationship through rapport building or small talk. They know how to determine the value of their product or service for each client. That's because they can put themselves in the client's shoes and understand their needs. They're also good at making people feel at ease and building trust. Deals are sealed when the salesperson can make their prospect feel respected and specially understood. Moreover, they need to approach prospects who have a genuine need for the product or services that they are selling. A great salesperson's day is often spent researching and speaking with clients. I don't see that very much nowadays. The time and effort they put into especially research, I don't see a lot of salespeople doing proper research. Help them get new clients and improve their company's bottom line. The less productive salespeople, which is about 90% of the sales force, are too lazy to research. They just want to get an easy win. Google and LinkedIn are two of the most popular research tools these days. There are plenty more, of course. If you really want to understand how to qualify a research, you need to partner with a leading market research company, or you have a proper market research and qualifying process. The better prepared you are to approach the prospect, the more powerful your pitch will be. The worst type of pitch is a generic pitch. It means that you did not even bother researching the customer's background, the customer's product, the customer's challenges, the customer's competition. So doing a pitch with proper research will always win against someone who just uses a generic presentation. Finding the opportunities is another vital skill of successful salespeople. Networking, social selling, referral marketing, and even cold calling are all viable options. Whatever approach you prefer, the goal is to generate new prospects and bring in business. Again, the goal is to generate new prospects, not wait for new prospect. In larger companies, you may have a staff who are solely responsible for generating leads for you to follow up. If you work for a smaller company, then everyone is expected to wear multiple hats. It may be up to you to find leads and then to qualify them. Fake prospects are the headache of every B2B salesperson's existence. You may think that being good at selling is all about turning any no into a yes, but it's actually knowing who to sell to, and more important, when to sell to the person. Let me repeat that. It's knowing who to sell and when to sell. Remember that you don't want your clients to regret doing business with you, so the deal has to be mutually beneficial. Online lead generation and content marketing are excellent tools for qualifying leads in a fully or semi-automated manner. Even if a team member screens leads before they reach you, knowing how to swiftly qualify prospects is critical if you want to focus on your time and energy on the most promising ones. Not everyone is a prospect. Do you have a lead generation process? Are they just simply ad hoc in your approach, or come what may? Do you have a lead qualifying process? Think about it. Do you even have a proper process, and are you sticking to it? Regardless of how much the world of sales changes, at least one thing stays the same. Time is money. Time is money. But the tools you can use to manage your time have changed. And that's a good thing because you have a lot of options to choose from, ranging from a simple synchronized calendar to comprehensive task management solutions. Don't be afraid to put them to work. Find out which ones will help you make the most out of your time. Automating tedious, time-consuming tasks has never been easier, and you should take advantage of it. A lot of salespeople I know are still in the dinosaur age. They don't use the tools available for them in order to be more efficient. In the previous slide, I asked you if you have a process. Now I will ask you if you leverage automation to make the most out of your day, or do you just flow within your day? Giving good presentations is another important aspect of working in sales. But it also happens to be something that makes most people at least a little nervous. For some, it sends shivers down their spines. If giving presentations is not something you enjoy and you feel you're not very good at it, the good news is that you can improve without memorizing every single word on your slide or notes. It's not about that. If you want data to back up your claims, you can include it in your slide and you don't even have to recite it. You just show it. Because data and information represented in graphical information is very powerful. What matters most is that your presentation isn't bland or boring. Don't let your audience read your presentations because they're gonna fall to sleep. And that's what happens when you focus too much on facts and figures. People respond much better to stories, since that's how we communicate with each other even in ancient times. Customer will not care about what you're selling unless they understand you can help them solve some of their problems. Here is where most salespeople make a mistake. They're selling their company. They're not selling solutions. Customers don't care about your company unless they know you can solve their problems. It's not about you showing how big and how great you are. Companies care less unless they know you can solve their problem. They don't care about the bells and whistles of your product or services. They only care about the benefits your products or services provides. It's never about features. It's never about features. It's all about how they will benefit from your product or how they will benefit from your service. This is very simple presentation frameworks which I have not seen common, to most salespeople. If you work as a salesperson, especially in B2B sales, you can expect to deal with objections on a daily basis. If you approach this the right way, it can give you a valuable opportunity to ask more questions, learn more about your prospects' needs, and tailor your pitch accordingly. A poorly handled objection, on the other hand, can disrupt an otherwise positive conversation. When honing your objection handling skills, you want to focus on the ones you'll encounter more often. So that's why it's always good to be prepared. You already try to figure out what are the most common objections that you get or you will get, and then already have a prepared answer. Sometimes it's funny because there are salespeople who don't bother to prepare, and then they get caught off guard with questions that are so obvious that it will get asked. Skepticism. Your prospects are not sure your solution is right for them. You will be met with skepticism. When your prospects feel they don't need what you have to offer, they will start to act indifferently because you are not making the point. You are not showing them that you are solving their problem. They are getting bored with your presentation. It's always best to have a list of common objections, like I said, along with the appropriate response and recovery. These are very short tips, but very powerful. Pulling them all together, we talked about research skills, required. Finding new opportunities, required. Qualifying prospects, a must-do. Time management, a must-do. Presentation skills, a must-have. Objection handling skills, a must-have. These are the 6 basic skills that you need. All of them you need. The question now is, which ones are you strong with, and which ones are your areas for improvement? As always, as we land, what's one thing you learned that you commit to apply today? What's one thing you learned that you commit, the key word here is commit, to apply today? Not everyone listening now will adapt what you learned. Let's be honest about this. That's a fact of life. I've been training hundreds of people in my career, but less than 10% actually apply what they learned. The people that apply what they learned end up doing amazing things with their either business or careers. They're able to develop themselves, and they're able to level up their careers and their businesses. The rest, of course, stay where they are because they don't bother developing themselves. I look forward to which 10% of this group and future attendees, actually apply what they learn. Kudos to you, for willing and being able to transform yourself. Let us set aside excuses. There's always going to be an excuse if you really are not serious with developing yourself. And just do it. I'm looking forward to watch the careers of the doers and their businesses take off. I will be cheering and clapping for you in the sidelines. Thank you, and have a great day.